introducing your puppy or dog to people, to being around people, being introduced to people. What's a good way to do that? And it's something that we do a lot in our classes because we know the value. Hi, buddy. We know the value of this because it's an everyday functional skill. It's also for you, those of you guys who are working on those foundational stuff. It's exactly what you need to be working on.
Mac, that'll do.
So we have our herding dog out who has
no
zero obedience training. So this will be kind of fun. But
well, he does have obedience training.
with a little bit.
Like,
I mean,
he knows basics.
yeah, he has a response to name and a recall, but his recall is that'll do. So it's a little bit different. With no further ado, why don't we head on over to the train station?
Okay, we chose Max specifically because he hasn't really gone through much obedience training, and I'm hoping that he is not going to do what he's supposed to do, so that I can actually show you what to do with a dog that's not as trained. So if we're trying to teach our dogs how to behave around other people, especially how to learn to listen to us around people, we actually like to start off by having them be totally successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to encourage Mac to sit, who actually he defaulted into a sit already. And before I start giving him treats, I'm going to make sure that my leash is loose. Now I have several pieces of food ready, and in a moment Ken's going to approach me, and as he does, I'm going to focus on Mac, and I'm going to focus sit, good boy, good sit. Good boy. I'm going to focus on rewarding him for sitting. Good. Sit. Sit. Yes. Good boy. And then I'm going to have Mac. What is your name? Ken. Walk away. Good. Yes. Okay. So we just start off by having somebody come in close and then moving away to make it easier. Now, Ken's moved away. I've stopped rewarding because I want the best part to be when he's focused and somebody comes close. Okay. Come back again. Good. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Good. Sit. Yes. Good. Sit. Yes, good, sit. Okay, walk away. Sit. Yes, good boy. Okay, both times he's very, very successful. Now, if he was to make a mistake and he was to get up, okay, come back for a second. I'm going to let him make an error. If he was to get up and get out of that sit position, I would just take the leash. I would encourage him back into that sit. Then I would put the slack back in the leash so the leash was loose once again. That's my boy. And then I could reward from there. His face is absolutely hysterical.
You guys can see he's just like... We're training.
Excuse me. Okay. The next step is letting Mac go and greet. So I might say to him, so just like I let him go and play with other dogs, I would say, go play. I would say, here, Mac, go see. Go say hi. Quiet. Go say hi. Good boy. Good. Go say hi. Now I'm going to let him go say hi. And after he's been greeting for a few moments, I'm going to teach him to come back to me when he's called. So I have food in my hand. Again, notice my leash is loose. I'm going to say, Mac. Yes, good boy. I'm going to call his name, and then I'm going to use the food to draw him away from that distraction. So when I'm training this, teaching this, I'm not saying Mac and then hoping that he turns. That would be me testing him. I'm training him. So I'm showing him what I want him to do. So I'm going to give you some food so you can reward him for coming close. Go say hi. Good. Mac. Yes, good boy. Now, he didn't turn as quickly that time, and you'll notice I didn't say yes as early. I waited until I had some attention from him before I said yes, and I would just repeat this process several times. Mac, yes, good boy. So I'm saying his name, and I'm showing him how to turn away from that person. Mac, yes, good boy.
You saw how snappy. You can see how much faster.
He's getting faster every time. So I actually think that I could maybe try testing him here. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to let him, yes, Matt, good boy. I'm going to let him go and say hi to Ken. And after, don't jump, boy. After he's had a few moments to say hello, yes, that's a good choice. I'm going to call his name on a loose leash, and I'm not going to show him treats. If he turns independently, yes, good boy. If he turns independently, I am going to throw a party. I'm going to back away, and I'm going to reward very generously. If he doesn't turn, though, I'm going to repeat his name, use a bit of food, and I'm going to go back to helping him. Obviously, if he doesn't pass the test, it means he's not quite ready to be tested because I've only done a couple repetitions here. So let's see what he does. Okay, go say hi. Good. Beeline, be quiet. Mac. Yes! Good boy. Good boy. That was excellent. Now, you'll notice when I'm feeding him for being attentive to me. Yes, Mackie, good boy. Okay. Yay, good for you. Yes. Now, If you have a dog that might do some jumping as they go to say hello, you might need to be ready to use an off. Now, we actually talked about this 2 weeks ago on live stream, but if he was to go to jump up on Ken, I don't know if he will though, because he's been trained not to jump up. But if he did go to jump up, will you jump up?
Here,
No.
no.
He's like, I know.
He's also been,
I know what's going on
he's
here.
been rewarded so many times in that
Yeah,
sit that he's
if
like,
he
oh,
did
sit.
go to jump up, I would tell him off, and I would just use the leash to get him back out, down onto the floor, and then I would reward. But again, like we said, what we're trying to do is set the dog up for success. So rather than walk him up and let him jump, I'm going to move up and work sit. Good boy, off. Good off. Yes, good boy. Maybe Ken will pet him while he's holding it off. Good boy. Good off. Yes.
And this
Good
is really important
boy,
for you
yes.
as you're working with getting your dog introduced to other people. You'll need
Yes.
to coach those other people, those strangers on your walk. Say,
Yes.
you know what, I'm actually working on this right now, introducing my dog to new people. Can you help me for a moment?
Yes.
And that helper, that person, doesn't need to go diving in over top, petting your dog, making it even more
Yes.
difficult for them. And by giving them that information, telling them that can you help me train my dog, they're less likely to have that exaggerated response. They'll be like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
They'll be really interested. So really do your best to give your helpers that kind of information.
There's two other things that are really important about what I'm doing here that I didn't really draw a lot of attention to. Number one, I have pretty good treats in my pocket, so they're pretty high value. If you're using kibble or dog biscuits or things that are low value, it's quite possible that your dog's going to choose people over top of your treats. So I have some pretty good treats here. The second thing that's important is that I am not tightening the leash when he's being good. So as he's sitting and holding here, look how loose my leash is. Why this is such an important step is that later on, my goal is that I don't need to have a leash on my dog. You know, my dog's loose in the house and I get to the point where it's trained enough. Here, bud, sit. That I don't need to have a leash on. I want my dog to have learned to do this without me having to pull. The dog's not really learning if I have the dog being pulled back on a tight leash. So if I need to do that to stop the dog, I will, but then I must put slack in the leash so the dog is sitting on their own free will, so he has a choice. He can either get up or he can remain sitting, and I will address those two behaviors differently, but I'm going to try my best to get him to choose this by making it easier. If someone was right here and it was too distracting, I wouldn't practice my sit right next to somebody. I would encourage my dog further away, sit. And I would work my sit further until he was able to be successful in his choices. And if he was successful here, okay, I would then move closer to that distraction and build on success, make it harder if he was ready for it. And how do I know that he's ready for it? He's making good choices. The dog, it's going to be really easy to see whether you're ready to make it harder or not. Well, aren't you brilliant?
Now, you've just watched some content from our main channel, McCann Dog Training. And if you'd like some more training information on this topic, click that card right there. If this is your first time on our Clips channel and you really enjoy the short form content, make sure you subscribe. Hit that button right there. On that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.